Okay, we'll start with an opening statement from Coach, and then we'll open it up to questions. Again, please raise your hand, be acknowledged, and we'll get the microphone over to you.
Well, we've had, the last two games with them have obviously been either-or games. And today we were on the short end of it. I thought when we had the lead 2 or 3 minutes in, whatever it got up to, 7-ish, thought we were in good shape. But we didn't stop them down the stretch. I mean, we gave up. Espinoza Hunter got a couple open threes. We left Park Lane there. She had a big three, and then, we just overhelped on that last play. So, credit to them. They hung in there. I thought. I thought I could have helped our team down the stretch better than I did. I thought we didn't get into the kind of stuff that maybe would have been a little bit more effective. So, like I said, 50-50 game, really similar to the last game we played them. And so super disappointed, but still proud of our group. And hopefully we see our name called in whatever it is, week and a half or a little over a week.
Questions for Coach? Please raise your hand and we'll get the microphone over to you. We'll start right here in the front row. Tim.
Coach, you could obviously talk about, the final play, at the end of the game with you on offense, but defensively, I know Bembry hit the winning shot, but given the offensive arsenal that Seton Hall has, where you have Park Lane, Espinoza Hunter, and Cooks, you could say at the same time that you would rather have a player like Bembry rather than a player like an Espinoza Hunter or a Park Lane who is more of a legitimate closer in that scenario.
Yes and no. The no would be, she was 6 out of 8 and played really well, or 5 out of 7 and then hit the last shot to go 6 out of 8. So if she's 1 for 5, absolutely. If she's 2 for 6, absolutely. But I think when a player plays as well as she did tonight, that's, we had Park Lane swallowed up we switched. Morgan Molly had her. She's dead on the baseline, and we just overhelped. If she had a clear lane to the basket, you can make that argument. But I think we had her swallowed up, dead on the baseline. So, but it's still a big shot by Bembry. Still, she played really well. So she was probably the X factor, right? She got off to a good start, and we usually try to give a little bit of help off of her onto Cooks, and we just, the bottom line is we didn't do a good enough job on those two, that they had 16 field goals. So, but credit to her. She had a tough shot.
We have a question from Matt DeMarinis, excuse me, checking in on Zoom from Omaha. He's just asking how much trouble did Park Lane in particular give you tonight, getting into lane, finding seams, and then opening up some easy looks for Bembry and some others?
Yeah, I thought the first half we didn't do a good enough job. I thought we actually did a better job in the second half. We left her, I don't know what happened on that miscommunication where she got the wide open three there late that tied it, I think. But I thought we did a better job on her in the second half. But yeah, she's tough. She plays with the ball and she gets you to lift your hips, and then she's even with you or by you. So, we talk about that, and we played them 3 times, and that's why she's a good player, is because she can still make those plays when you've seen her for a third time.
Front row here on the left.
Hi, Coach. Jim Clark from Women's Hoops World. When you got the 7-point lead, I think it was,
yeah,
you did that pretty much in the paint. And then the next 3 possessions, you looked like you fired off really quick threes, all of which missed.
Yeah.
Any explanation for why that happened, or was it just the stress of a really close game?
Yeah, I think, they're 20. They're 20-year-olds, so we're over there on the sideline saying that was too quick, that was too quick. But, we also live and die to some degree with the 3. We had 42 threes in a 2-game stretch. not too long ago. So, I mean, we're not going to tell most of our kids not to shoot an open three. So, but yeah, we needed to throw it inside better. I mean, they did a good job of helping off the kids that they wanted to help off of. I mean, they cross-matched a lot. They played Cooks on Saunders and Rembau, and Tatum hit a big three. But they were going to beg those kids to shoot and play Cooks as a kind of a paint protector. So it wasn't always easy to get the ball inside because of how they sat off of how Cooks sat off whoever she was guarding.
Do we have anything else for Coach? All right, Coach, thanks. We'll be watching us the selection show.
Thank you. Thanks.
Say that again.
Yeah, I'll send you the key. I'll include both games. Thank you. Thank you. That's right. That's why it's not as I didn't know exactly. So it's not you want to look at that.
So a couple Seton Hall notes. They're in the semifinals for the fourth time since realignment. Also took place in 2016 and 2015. And it's Seton Hall's first victory over Creighton in 3 tries in the Big East tournament. Once again, for the folks on Zoom, if you have any questions for anybody here from Seton Hall, Sydney Cooks, Maya Bembry, or Coach Tony Bozzella, put it into the chat. Make sure you tell me who it's directed towards, and we'll see if we can get it asked.
Thanks for waiting. James, how are you? Nice to see you.
Rich, how are you?
Thank you.
All right, as usual, we'll start with an opening statement from Coach, then we'll take questions for the student athletes first, then we'll let them go get treatment, and then we'll open it up to questions for Coach. But we'll start with an opening statement from Tony Bozzella.
Yeah, that was exciting. Way to go, girls. Good job. Congratulations, obviously, to Creighton. We have a tremendous amount of respect for them and their program. They have great players and great coaches, and they're going to do really well in the NCAA tournament. For us, this is obviously a tremendous win. We've really, come a long way. To lose to them a few weeks ago in double overtime gave us actually a lot more confidence. And obviously, we were on a good streak of winning. But, for us, when we were 3-7, we said we're going to do things day by day. And to these girls' credit, we have. And we could never be here without, obviously, all their teammates. But these two young ladies have really stepped up in a lot of ways, both as players, but even as people, leading in their own way. Really proud of all our players and our coaches. They did a great job. But these two young ladies to the left of me have really epitomized what we're trying to do here at Seton Hall, which is be, great teammates, great players, and most of all, great student athletes. So I'm going to turn it over to them.
Any questions for the student athletes? We'll start right here in the front row on the left.
Hi, Jim Clark from Women's Hoops World. Maya, on this team, you're probably seen as not one of the top 3 people they're looking to guard, but you were incredibly efficient today. And of course, the last one was the big one. How do you approach a game like this, knowing that you're not one of the primary aims of either your team or theirs?
On this team, we all have a role, and I know my role is to hustle and get rebounds and defend the best player on that game. So this wasn't anything out of the ordinary in practice. I try to do my best and get my teammates the ball, and when I have a shot, I'll shoot it. This was no different in the game. We practice this all the time, so I was ready for the moment.
We'll go right here in the front row, and then we'll work our way down. Thank you, Sweeney.
Maya, this question's for you. I mean, you talk about, the mental preparation for, taking that kind of big shot, but to actually be there in the moment, obviously, is one of those, athlete moments where you kind of just black out and the moment just happens. But at the same time, you also dream of this, your whole life, in your driveway, practicing that shot. But, try to describe anyone that has never had that feeling of being the one taking that shot and then actually doing it and making good on it and to give your team ultimately the win.
You just got to prepare mentally for it the whole season. Again, it's nothing different than what we had practiced. A little different now because, there's a lot of space behind the backboard and your whole teammates are standing up behind you, hoping the shot goes in. But you kind of just black out and you see the rim and everything, and you just hope it's money.
Before we get the microphone down, we do have a question from Sunil, who's in Zoom. He's asking for Sydney. You poured in a game-high 20 points. Can you talk about the importance of establishing your post presence and your interior presence in the paint tonight?
I think very early in the season, I settled a lot and I kind of underestimated my strength. So after working with the coaches and they're telling me you're strong, get down there and battle, you got it, don't settle. I've really, focused on that, and I realized wow, you guys are right. It is easier down here. So I've just really been focusing on it. I mean, as part of my pregame warm-ups, just to kind of score around the basket, and I've always been taught start inside and then work outside, and it's really been working for me.
Right here, second row on the right.
Daniel Mattia with her Hoop Stats. Sydney, you guys got down a little bit, down by 7 in the fourth quarter, and then there was the chippiness going on. Can you talk about the composure of your team and staying resilient through, I think there were 12 lead changes in the game, how you handled it?
Mm-hmm. Well, those are my sisters. I mean, we got each other's back at all times. So yeah, it got a little chippy, but we were focused on us. We wanted to win this game so bad. We wanted to advance, and we were looking at the bigger picture, okay, we're down 7, but we're good. Coach B, he's put so much confidence in all of us. Even the players that might not have gotten in, they were talking to us as well, you guys got this. We're going to win this game. And I think when you just have that mentality, no matter what the score said, we were ready, and we came out, and that's why that shot is easy for her. She makes that all the time with her eyes closed, so we knew it was money every time. We just have that confidence in one another, and the coaches have that in us as well, so it makes it easier.
Last question for the athletes in the front here. Ashley in the front row.
Thanks, guys. Sydney, we'll start with you, and then Maya, if you can answer as well. Tomorrow, looking ahead, I know you just wrapped up this game, but everyone has momentum going into semifinals. How are you going to approach Villanova and specifically Maddie, who's just been, stellar as we got down the stretch here?
Well, we have a lot of respect for Maddie. Everyone we want to play everyone the same. I mean, we're not going to change up who we are. I think when we make it our pace, it's hard for any team to be with us. So I think that's what we'll really focus on, try to get some good sleep tonight since it's 12 a.m. And be ready to go. We're not going to change anything about ourselves. We'll just be a little stronger and stretch these legs out and get some ibuprofen. We'll be fine.
Piggybacking off of what Sid said, just play our game, and we know each other, we trust each other, and we prepare for this moment since the beginning of the season, so we're ready. Yeah.
I think we need a pain reliever sponsorship. Thank you, ladies. Appreciate it. We'll see you guys
Thank you.
tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we will ask questions for Coach. We'll start in the second row, and then we'll move to the front row here on the left.
Hi, Coach. Sierra from MTMV Sports. You set the tone early. You came out at a fast pace. Was that your game plan going into the start of the game?
We wanted to make sure at Sierra we were aggressive because we know how good Creighton is and how aggressive they can be. And if we started on our heels, we knew we were going to have to climb uphill all day. So even though they eventually took the lead, us having the lead at some point allowed us to have confidence, but also not feel like we were chasing all game. So that was really, yes, we wanted to start aggressively and get a lead early. That was important to us.
Hey, Coach, take me through the strategy of that last play there.
You know, Ash, that's a really good question, and we debated it for a while. I'm one of those people who like to shoot early so we can extend the game, but just the way this game was going and having no timeouts left, I said, let's just hold for the last shot. So we were going to go at 10, and Coach DeFalco and Coach Jose said, let's go at 12. So we went at 12, and really we were trying to get the ball back in Lauren's hands. Her first look was to score the ball herself. Her second look was to dump to Sydney. And her third look was to, create. And Lauren's come a long way in being able to trust all her teammates, and which is why she's an elite point guard. And she trusted Maya, and Maya was open, stepped in, and shot the ball. So she executed the play, obviously as well as we could have hoped.
Here in the front row on the left.
Coach Jim Clark from Women's Hoops World. You have, of all the games, this is the shortest bench we've seen. And a game like that really takes it out from a mental as well as a physical viewpoint. Are you guys going to be worn out tomorrow?
Well, we run a lot in practice, and we've practiced a ton of times this year. But we'll utilize our bench a little bit more. It was just the flow of the game, the way the game was going. But we have some really good players. I mean, Katie Armstrong, Katessia Dean, Amari Wright, all of them are good. But those three, I'm sure, will have a big say in tomorrow's game for us as well. They're going to need to play well for us to be successful tomorrow. But the one thing, Lauren Clark-Lane, who leads, obviously, the Big East in minutes, and is, I think, top 5 or 6 in the country, she only gets mad at me for one thing, and that's to take her out. So I don't want her mad at me. So I'll probably end up leaving her.
Obviously wasn't mad today.
No. So, obviously we're going to need to get some more people in our rotation. But, when you play in the semifinals of the Big East and you step on the floor and our crowds have been great, and obviously all your media have been amazing. Thank you so much. Your energy level raises. So these girls will be good. I'm confident in that.
We'll go to the front here with Tim, and then we have a question on Zoom.
Coach, there was obviously that very confusing and quite lengthy situation involving the foul that was called on Andra about 6.5 minutes remaining in the game. And I mean, considering it was a lengthy timeout, you're down 4, not in action. I mean, what does it take to, as a coach, just making sure that their focus is still in on the action and not really thinking about the fact that, we haven't been on the court for 5 minutes while, they're reviewing all this, and unexpectedly it turned out to be the immediate timeout?
Yeah, it was hard. Like, Tim, I haven't faced that in a long time. So I kept going over the same place and the same place. Then we go to a media timeout after that. But I thought the referees handled it really well. I mean, this is a hard game to ref. And, Rod, Jeff, and Teresa, I thought did an outstanding job of trying to maintain control. Andra elbowed her, and it was a foul. And, we had to pay the price of the foul. But, the rest moved on from that. And, they obviously were able to make both foul shots. But I thought a big play in that was we stopped them on that possession. I think if they had gone to 8, that would have been a problem. They ended up getting it to 7 at one point. But Lauren hit a big 3 to cut it to 4. And, and stuff. But that was hard. I give our kids credit for just staying the course, getting their emotions in check. Whenever we play Creighton, it's a very emotional, physical, difficult game, and today was no different.
So Sunil checks in on Zoom. First question for him is, or from him is, this is your first win in 3 tries against Creighton in the Big East tournament, so how does that feel? And his follow-up to that is, what's the strategy? What's it going to take to beat Villanova tomorrow?
I mean, I don't think there's anyone that has more respect for Creighton and their program than myself. I think their players are tremendous. I think they play so hard. I think Jim Flannery is one of the best coaches in the country. They're going to do really well in the NCAA tournament because they're a great team. So I never look at it, well, they beat us. I honestly, I'd rather have them beat us because they're really good and stuff. So we learned from it, and we knew it was going to be a hard game. And, I think someone told me 4 of our last 6 games were overtime. So, they've just had the edge on us, and I give them credit for that. But, I don't look at it, oh, we beat Creighton. I just think we beat a really good team, and this is going to help us take one more step towards, playing more games in the playoffs and in the Big East. And, tomorrow's going to be a hard game. They have the best player in the league, and they are obviously, another well-coached team, and their kids fight hard and play hard. But, we're going to do our best as well, too. And I think playing on this court twice now, hopefully we'll get our shooting, legs back and shooting confident back, because we're a much better shooting team than we've shot. And I think tomorrow we're going to have a great shooting day. I really believe that in my heart. I do.
Coach, thanks very much. Congrats. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate all your hard work. Thanks, James.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. If you want, when we do our shoot around, if you want to come and you want to get a quote or two, that's fine too.